Welcome. Scott here. Here is a quick boss guide for the upcoming Heretics event, Execute, Neutralize Opposition CPU Heretics featuring the returning Strago from Final Fantasy VI. The event synergy units are Strago, Gabranth, Amidatelion and Ashe. Strago FR will be making its debut. Strago will be getting his rework. When the event is released in Japanese version, the other BT synergy unit is Ashe. At when I am recording this video, I am assuming that the other BT unit is Gabranth. We will be fighting the CPU, the attack node, and the defense node which has 60 million HP each. They are weak against magic. The turn requirement is 75. The HP requirements is 3000. Before I continue further, here is a small disclaimer clause for the video. The guide is written based on the time that the event was released for the Japanese version. Please do note that it is possible that the boss fight mechanics might differ when the actual event is released in global. Like most other Shinryu fights, the boss gains increased brave damage and gain resistances at start of the fight and 79% HP or 49% HP threshold. Bringing a support like Lunafreya, Charlotta, Aerith, Ramza, Yuna, Iroha, Pernello, Selpha that grants damage boosting aura will make your fight easier. As the boss gains substantial boost to their defenses with the auras, it is important to inflict debuffs that lower their defenses. On the screen I have listed down the key utility that you can consider when forming your party for this fight. Although the boss has a force gauge properties that resist melee and ranged, Gabranth have other utility to make up for the resistances. At 79%, 49%, and 29% threshold, the CPU will use the Force ability Object 199 Plus and activate the Force time of 4 turns that raises the party defense. Make sure you stand by damage mitigation calls to mitigate the damage. At 89%, 49%, and 9% HP threshold, the defense node will activate the Take Defensive posture where the bosses will gain 999% brave resistance and massive brave gains. To remove the effects from the posture stance, you need to break them. To do this, you need to use either Instant Break utility or Gravity which I listed above. Alternatively, if you choose to break them, you can use Brave Resistance Ignore mechanics like Brave Cap Damage or Rainbow, Brave Gains via Brave Hits or HP Attacks. Units that offer this game-changing mechanics are Setzer, Kate Sith, Charlotta, and Pernello. Cor and Gabranth have Rainbow utility in their kit so you can just save your Rainbow utility to handle the thresholds. At the 69%, 49%, and 19% HP threshold, the attack node will use Piercing Laser ++ where it will drains your party current HP to 50% of their current HP along 2 frame debuffs. You can prevent the trigger of the force time when your force time is active. If you trigger the force time threshold while in summon phase, the boss will use it once you exited out of the phase. Make sure you have turns to so you can break the stance. For the threshold mechanics from defense node or attack node, they won't trigger the threshold while you are in the summon or burst mode. As we are fighting 3 enemies, an AOE nuke is doable as long as you have means to overcome the brave resistances. As none of the attacks are guaranteed hit, evasion unit like 8, Glove, Redia, Edge or Lila will excel here. You can also use Kamare Total Blindness to tank those HP attacks. Alternatively, you can make use of damage mitigators like Warrior of Light, Gladio, Bash, 9 or Beatrix to tank those damage. Do be mindful that the HP requirement is a strict 3000. A burst healing or using off-turn healing via traps units like Minwu or Maria or off-turn follow-up damage like Ashe BT Aura will help on this. As we are no longer have Luvania Plus fights, the boss guide will be focused primarily on Shinryu fights. In Shinryu, you need to understand the effects gained by the boss as the force gauge build up, its force ability and its force time effect. If you don't bring any force chargers, it is highly certain that the boss force gauge will build up faster than yours. To have a better understanding on the basics of the force gauge mechanics and Shinryu fights, I have done a video explaining the mechanics. I have included the link to the video under the comments and video description for your quick reference. Throughout the fight, the boss has a permanent force gauge properties that allows them to gain 99% brave resistance against melee and ranged weapon. The boss force gauge will build up faster as its HP is lowered. You can refer to the table on the screen for the percentages. At the 100% threshold, the CPU boss will use its force ability, Object 199 Plus. The boss force ability, Object 199 Plus is a reset break status, AOE BRV HP Attack. When the boss is emitting the yellow aura and its force time is triggered, the boss will use Cursed. Upon using the force ability, the boss will enter into its force time where the gauge will start to emit a red hue with a counter of 4 on its gauge. When the force time is activated, the boss will gain the following enhancements where it raises the defense of all boss enemies by 150%. To deal force weakness on the boss, you need to use a magic force ability to inflict break will cancel the force time effects. Any magic attacking FR ability will work for this condition. However, when the defensive posture is activated, most probably only Strago FR will work to handle this. As mentioned earlier, the CPU boss will fully fill the force gauge to the max at the 79%, 49%, and 29% HP threshold. So do watch out for that. This condition won't trigger while you are in your burst, summon or force time phase. However, the trigger will follow up once you exit the phase. Now let's go through the fight key mechanics of the nodes. Boss A is the attack node, Boss B is the CPU and Boss C is the defense node. Whenever any of the bosses have high brave, they will unleash the laser HP attack. Let's start off with the more problematic enemy. The defense node. The defense node can constantly battery the party with brave while granting a framed brave regen buff that scales off 100% of the unit's initial brave for 3 turns. When its HP drop to 89%, 49%, and 9% HP threshold, the defense node will activate Take Defensive Posture stance. Upon the activation, the stance grant the party brave that equates 100% of their max brave along with 999% brave resistance with 2 framed buffs, a 50% defense up buff and 50% brave resistance buff. Both buff lasts for 3 turns. Because of the 999% brave resistance, your party will probably dealing brave damage of 1s unless you have mechanics to bypass it. To remove the resistance, you need to break the boss with either gravity to 0 or using instant or guaranteed break abilities. Now, let's focus on the attack node, or Boss A. Throughout the fight, it will use Piercing Laser Plus, which is an AOE brave attack that inflicts 3 frame debuffs, 50% attack down, 50% defense down and 20% speed down, all for 3 turns. It will grant the boss some brave as result of the action. When its HP drop to 69%, 49%, 19%, it will recover from break and unleash a HP attack that deals 50% of your unit's current HP. It will also inflict 2 frame debuffs, 50% brave damage down and 50% HP damage down for 3 turns. You can mitigate the attack with damage mitigation calls like Ragin LDCA, Reno LDCA, Warrior of Light LDCA, or evade the attacks with Redia LDCA. If you want to use the burst phase to finish the fight, make sure you kill off the boss or place your damage mitigation calls before they could use the attacks. Otherwise, you could end up missing the HP requirements. Before I end the section on the boss mechanic, let's cover briefly on the CPU mechanics. Other than the standard laser HP attack and force ability Object 199 Plus, the CPU has 2 forms of lasers. When it is targeting an unit, it will use concentrated laser, which is a single target brave plus HP attack. If it is targeting all, it will use diffractive laser, which is an AOE brave attack. Other than the thresholds attacks, the fight is actually quite simple one. As the fight features a troublesome mechanic, I will cover bit in depth on how to handle the 999% brave resistance mechanics. Because of the resistances, Your Brave damage will be resisted unless you have bypass mechanics like Brave cap mechanics, Brave gains on Brave hits or HP attacks. To handle the mechanic there are 4 main methods. 1. Deploy the bypass mechanics that I have mentioned earlier. 2. Use an instant break or gravity shave the Brave so you can break the boss. I have probably listed almost of all of the game units that have those mechanics. Do note that ignore defense mechanics won't work to break the boss. 3. You can let the boss dump the Brave with their HP attacks. In order to take the attacks without suffering any units being KO'd, you can tank it with damage mitigation, make them miss with blind mechanics or evade the attacks. 4. You can also make the Brave gain easy to break by using Brave control mechanics like freeze debuffs or Brave gain negation like Arsila LD or Galbez BT effect. Do keep in mind that the HP requirements is only 3000. So stand by your burst healing or ensure your party is supported with adequate healing. Before I end the guide, let's cover a bit on the featured FR unit. Strago is returning with a slight rework. He is a great magic DPS for big group of enemies. He can instant break with his S2 or LD. In order for his S2 to break the target, the enemy's Brave need to be even number. His FR will inflict break and rebreak 3 times, thus break delay the target turn by 3 turns. It will also raise the party HP damage and max Brave cap by 50% when your party inflict break or attacking broken targets. Now let's briefly go through his force condition. 1. Use a magic ability will grant 20% HP damage bonus. 2. Attacking a broken target or inflict break on the target will give 40% HP damage bonus. As the FR unit, Strago will gain an additional 20% HP damage bonus. Strago have lot of means to keep the boss constantly broken. Generally, when meeting all conditions Strago can easily get 80% HP damage bonus while other units can get 60% if they are magic attackers. However, the FR will be heavily usable against enemies that are immune to break or have Brave floor mechanics. It is a pretty generic FR. If you don't have a great magic AOE DPS, Strago can easily fulfill that role. With this, I have come to the end of my boss guide presentation. Hopefully you find it useful. If you like the video, please give a like. Please subscribe to my channel for future gaming content. Good luck for the fight in the coming days. Bye.